Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching us every day, beginning at 2 p.m., and that's Eastern Time, as we get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You still find us on television, Abundance Television Syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Now, don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can also find us on all the social media sites, just like you could before. We're in South Carolina, and we are tickled in a little town called Abbeville, and AP Steadham and I were talking about this. AP, as we see it, AP, the high school at Abbeville, South Carolina, won the state championship.
Oh, you moved into the right town. All those fans are crazy about football.
Something we get asked every time we go up there. People will ask, okay, now is it Clemson or South Carolina? Which one are you going to be rooting for?
You have to answer that question. Be definitive too.
It's just like Alabama and Auburn. They will fight. And even one person said, by the way, mixed marriages work. I think he's South Carolina and she's for Clemson. And I said, wow, same feeling me. He's here to Alabama. I was just all over Auburn like crazy. So yes, mixed marriages do work.
That's great. That's great to have that part of the tradition over there in the state of South Carolina. Very, very loyal fans, South Carolina and Clemson, because they did not have the best teams through the year. They're having some good teams now, but they will always support their team. They stay till the end as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And being up there, I'm Clemson, and of course, my husband's going to go right opposite. He's South Carolina. So we just have to have that kind of a life, I guess.
You got to stay with that orange.
Well, you've had a lot of stuff going on in the past week. Let's talk about your podcast, AP, as we see it.
Yeah, we had two great guests last week. It was Kurt Bowles from the Houston Chronicle. He covered Texas for many, many years. He's the past president of the Football Writers Association of America. And then we had Yogi Roth, and Yogi's with the Big Ten Network as an analyst. He was with the Pac-12 prior, but got disintegrated. So we had two great guests. We discussed the Texas versus Ohio State game, the Cotton Bowl. That was a semifinal game, and Ohio State came on top 28-14. It was a close contest for a while till the end there. There was Quinn Ewers, the quarterback at Texas. He was tackled by his former roommate at Ohio State, believe it or not. Jack Sawyer, defensive end from Ohio State. No, and Jack took the ball 83 yards for a touchdown, put him on top 21-14. Then that touchdown made it 28, I guess it was. So put them ahead by 2 touchdowns. But Texas was on the brink, on the 1 yard line of scoring a touchdown. And then that play happened and turned the whole game around. And so Ohio State proceeds to the national championship game, and Texas out of the SEC. They were the last hope. They lost. So next year they'll try again. But it's Ohio State from the Big Ten versus Notre Dame, an independent. The championship game, Notre Dame was able to defeat Penn State in a close ball game. Matter of fact, the kicker from Notre Dame, down to your friends from South Carolina, I think will appreciate this, but the kicker, Mitch Jeter, was a transfer from the University of South Carolina. So he put Notre Dame in the championship game with that last second field goal.
There you go. Let's talk about the past season, because this has been it's like a whirlwind of craziness in good ways.
Yeah, very, very competitive in the SEC, Donna. We said before the season that people were really chasing Georgia. Georgia ended up winning the Southeastern Conference, the championship game in Atlanta. They beat Texas, ended up beating Texas on the road, so they beat Texas twice. Those are the only 2 losses for the Longhorns. Georgia, lost that game to Ole Miss by 18 points, 28-10. But Georgia had a good season. Carson Beck. Now, here's big news this past week. Carson Beck, the quarterback from Georgia, he entered the transfer portal, Donna. He initially wanted to enter the NFL draft, but he's going to transfer to the University of Miami. So that's big news in the Southeastern Conference, to lose your starting quarterback from the championship team. Right, you had a good season, won the championship, but you're transferring. So that's kind of interesting. This is the new world of college football. You could be successful that year, win a championship, but you're on the move. You make a decision to change schools for various reasons, whether it's more NIL money or a different situation with personnel. But I think that's representative of this new era. at the top level, because you have this. Who would think if you had the championship at Alabama or Auburn, and the next year your quarterback says, "Well, that was fun, but I'm leaving you."
But what does that say about stability, though?
Well, year to year, that's it. It's year to year, Donna. Yeah, there's no continuity at all in the system because of the ability to transfer. And people are always reaching out behind the scenes to your representative, your high school coach. I mean, maybe you have an uncle, aunt, something, and presenting more money. And some people make their decision based on money, or some people make decisions on personnel or coach moves or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, Carson Beck, quarterback, University of Georgia, is now at the University of Miami.
Let's talk a little bit about that, about the money. Do you see salaries, players making money through the roof 5 years from now?
Well, right now, Donna, it's not published. So, for instance, if you're a player and your representative approaches a school and said, we want X amount of money, if I'm the other school, how can I refute that number? So I'm going to have to really make my own mind up about that slotted position as the quarterback. We're going to pay, this is our top level amount that we will pay a quarterback. Even though they might say they want more, we're telling the representative, we will pay you X amount of dollars. If you want more, this is our top level. You're going to have to go to a different school because it's not published. Now you have professional football, professional sports, Donna. Those numbers are published. They're available. So you can't fool somebody. You can't say, oh, well, so-and-so offered us $1.5 million. Well, it's only offered, maybe you were offered $800,000. I don't know. I'm using those two numbers as an example. But in collegiate athletics, the representatives could say any number, and you can't, and unless you ask them to produce the paperwork in some form or fashion, how are you going to verify that number?
Mm-hmm. Something, there was and let me find it. Okay, so there was an email that was sent from Richie. And I think this is a good question right here. And this is because, and he's seeing a trend, upcoming trend, which may happen, which kind of is the question I asked you earlier. And that's if college football players are going to be making, do you see higher salaries emerging in the future, 5 years from now or so?
Right.
He wants to know what your thoughts are on this. And Richie, I think it's a good question. Okay, do you possibly see college taking over pro football, and maybe it's all one because of salaries?
Yeah, no. What I see is, thank you for the question. What I see is these outside entities, they want to buy a conference. They want to buy a school. Say, for instance, a country. I'm just using this country as an example. Dubai. They have a lot of money. They might want to buy the Southeastern Conference. Mm-hmm. and control the whole thing, be the sponsor for that conference. Or there's other entities in the United States, they want to buy a school. So, and then the question is, will the players become employees? I don't think schools want the players to become employees. I really don't. But I think they want some type of uniformity to release the figures of the NIL. So everybody will understand what is being offered to each player. I think they want that divulged. I don't know how they could put that together, but I think they're moving towards that transparency of revealing the NIL numbers.
There's going to have to be not necessarily a cap on it, but there's going to have to be some kind of where we're not actually making up the rules as we go every year. But if we're not careful, that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think, Donna, that's a good point. And I'll just take you back to the college football playoff and the seeding where they gave 4 teams the bye at the top, not necessarily the 4 best team, but they won their conference. Mm-hmm. And some of the coaches were complaining, well, where were you when the rule was being formulated and legislated? Did your athletic director or your president not advise you that we were going to have a system where the 4 top teams were coming from the conference winners, the 4 best conference champions, but not necessarily the 4 best teams? So that means that when you had the bracket, one bracket might be a little bit more lopsided, perceived as lopsided, being a tougher challenge. But so I think, as you said, they're going to change these rules again. I'm thinking maybe by next year they'll pick 12 teams, but no one gets a bye based on winning a conference championship. You're going to seed the 12 teams, 1 through 12. But I think there was a reason behind it because, Donna, I think some of the conference maybe was not a power for a conference that they wanted them to have an opportunity to have a bye and play in one of those 6 bowl games that host the second game. So I think that was the reasoning behind it, I believe. But I think you're going to get so many complaints that they need to seed the teams 1 through 12. Nobody has a bye based on winning a conference champion.
Well, it's kind of like, let's just use the weather for an example. Okay, we're used to, hurricanes, tornadoes, and we get spin-off tornadoes from it. Well, an area like, let's just say, North Carolina had the hurricane that came up through. Yes. Well, that presented them a lot of new different rules and regulations, considering the whole part of that state there. Right. So as we're getting into this, we're going to see new issues. We're going to also see some great things coming out of it too. So it's going to have to be a balance somehow. How do you think they're going to handle the balance? Yeah,
Don, I think that the coaches, I think when they're not satisfied, they always mention that word fairness. But a lot of times I'm thinking, you have a school like Vanderbilt. Nobody was promoting the fairness issue with Vanderbilt, but when it affects them, all of a sudden it's a fairness issue. So they cry foul. So like coaches, when they feel like there's somebody's getting an advantage, that's what they're going to claim. It's not fair. We need to make this a level playing system, so I think as far as the NIL, some coaches are complaining that schools have more money and they don't have the figure, so you can't really compete because you don't know the figure. The agent comes to you, the representative, and they're telling you, oh yeah, my client needs 1.5 million. Well, I'm sure they're bumping that number up. I'm sure it's inflated. I'm sure it's not truthful. So they have to manage that situation. So the coaches, they're not happy with that dynamic right now. So that's why I say it's going to move to, I think, transparency. I don't know how it's going to work exactly, but I think coaches want to know exactly how much is being paid each player so they can compete. Knowledge. You have knowledge. You need knowledge of the numbers.
Uh-huh. I think, and it's kind of like real estate, okay, because we're in a weird market right now buying real estate. Some people are actually paying more than what the listing price is. We were fortunate enough to make a lower, there was nobody bidding against us, in other words.
That's right,
I made a ridiculous offer, and they accepted it. I mean, so I think it's going to be kind of a situation like that. So let me ask a question. Okay, let's just use Vanderbilt because they've been the surprise team of the season.
Oh, they were great. Yeah, that was great.
Oh, wow. So I think because of that, they're going to gather a lot more attention than they have been in the past few years.
I believe so.
Is it going to be a cap? Is the other team going to know what that cap is? Or you may have already answered that.
Right. Yeah, I think they, in professional sports, they use the term cap so you could spend X amount of dollars each team. So I think people are probably wanting to move that direction because they don't want one team having 50 million and the other team having 30 million. They don't want, as coaches always want that fairness, that level playing field. So I think most coaches would be in favor of a cap, some type of cap. But all the SEC teams now, they have plenty of money. If they want to spend it, it's up to them. But the other thing is you're approaching your alumni, your fans all the time, and you wanted to build facilities. But now this other part of the equation is we have to pay players. So you're hitting up your fans and your alumni for funding all the time. I think some fans are rebuffing that request. They don't want to keep giving money to pay players. So I think you've seen some of that as well. That's happening in this new dynamic. And then the transfer rules, and then everything happens in December. You're trying to host recruits and sign recruits out of high school. You're trying to host transfers. You're trying to prepare for the bowl game. You're trying to prepare for the playoffs. I don't see how you do it all in the month of December. whoever came up with that, I don't understand how they formulated or legislated this calendar with all those things happening simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. I don't either, and that's going to have to change in regards to the new world that we're in right now with college football. Let's go into a commercial break, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody, boy, that time flew by. We'll be right back. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring. But the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98, or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. You can find us right here on all the social media sites. Go to the website, by the way, donnasedge.com. You can find us on television, syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Got everybody's favorite sports guy, AP Steadham. We're so fortunate to get him with us. It's been a number of years. Don't go anywhere, okay? So AP is going to stay with us. And by the way, you can direct any questions, Donna at donnasedge.com. I'll be glad to get those to AP as well. AP, there's another fun thing happening right now. It's called basketball. You are the reason I like basketball now.
Yeah, Donna, the SEC, it's really exploded with their success. The last AP poll, there was 9 teams. Tennessee at the top, Auburn number 2, Alabama 5, Kentucky 6, Florida 8, Texas A&M 10, Mississippi State 14, Oklahoma 17, Ole Miss 23. So that's 9 teams, Donna. There's only 16 teams in the league, and there's over 350 or 60 basketball teams. Now, think about that. And 9 of them are in the poll at this point. You know, the poll comes out every Monday or so. I think this was last week's poll. But the SEC is having tremendous success in basketball. And Donna, in basketball, as in football, they're looking at your strength of schedule. So at the beginning of the season, you're playing all these teams from outside the conference. So if you could win a lot of those games, the majority of those games, a high percentage, you're not only helping your team individually, but you're helping your league when they have to evaluate for the tournament in March when they make those selections through the committee. So it's important to win those non-conference games. You don't have to win all of them, but you have to win some of them, Don, to be a good representative from your conference in the SEC. It's going to be a big year for them, I think, in the tournament.
Okay, what do we need to look for this coming year? Let's make your predictions. And you're usually right on target.
Well, I know Auburn's got a really good team. Auburn, has an excellent basketball team. Janae Broom, one of the top players when he transferred. This is his 3rd year at Auburn, but I think Auburn is one of the teams to beat. And of course, Tennessee and Alabama, I believe. Kentucky has the new coach, Mark Pope. Florida, Todd Golden, he's doing a great job there. Texas A&M, Buzz Williams, he's a colorful coach. He's kind of fun to interview. But all these different teams, Oklahoma, a new team in the league, Donna, Oklahoma and Texas, they've got a good team. Mississippi State is doing a great job at Ole Miss as well. So all these teams are competing. If you're trying to build the depth on your roster, you're trying to get ready for the NCAA tournament eventually. Of course, you have the conference tournament prior to the selection Sunday. But I think the SEC and the Final Four will be in San Antonio. I'll be in San Antonio for the Final Four. So the SEC is really, I think it's kind of an unprecedented level of success they're having right now in basketball, and that's one of the revenue-generating sports. So that helps the league. And Donna, we can even look at the women's. The last week's poll, we had South Carolina number 2, Texas number 5, LSU number 6, Oklahoma, one of the new teams, number 10, Kentucky 15, Tennessee now with their new coach is number 16, and Alabama was 18th at the time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in the women's poll. So both men's and the women's basketball are having great success this season.
Okay, let's talk about basketball as a whole. Who is the Cinderella team in your opinion right now?
Yeah, the Cinderella team. I don't know. Maybe you could pick out a team like Florida. Florida, young coach Todd Golden, good coach. Maybe that's a Cinderella type team at this point. But I think in basketball, Donna, there's quite a few Cinderellas because it's, like I said, it's way over 300, the number of teams around the country. But in the SEC, a team like Florida, that's pretty impressive right now.
How is Vanderbilt holding up as far as a basketball team?
Yeah. I haven't yet studied them, but I know
could they be the one who emerges as a Cinderella team?
Yeah. We'll have to see, Donna. But I know Vanderbilt. It's always had a history, Donna. That arena, when you play, they normally had the coaching boxes on each end, so it's kind of different, and it's below the surface of the court. So it's always an interesting place to coach, and they have good fan support. And Vanderbilt's usually a team that shoots the ball well. Usually shoots the ball well from the 3-point line. But we'll find out. But anyway, there should be a great basketball season. I have no, Donna, there's so many good teams. I have no idea who's going to be the eventual regular season champion and then also win the Southeastern Conference, because at the end of the year, when you're in that conference tournament, Donna, maybe you're a game or two, you think you need to win. And it means one team is highly motivated. It may not be their top team because they already figure we're in the tournament, no problem. But it's a team below that's trying to get into the tournament. So they have a hot run and they're really focused and can make a concerted effort. So that's what gets them in the tournament. That's the beauty about basketball. You could have that redemption at the end of the season because of the conference tournament.
Mm-hmm. And some great coaches out there. Who are you keeping your eyes on right now?
Yeah. John Calipari, moved from Kentucky to Arkansas, paid him a lot of money. So they're trying to see if they can get something going there. But, Rick Barnes is the staple at Tennessee, very good coach. And, of course, Bruce Pearl at Auburn, Nate Oates at Alabama. Mark Pope is the new coach at Kentucky, so I know they're pretty happy. He was like a former player, played on the 96 championship team. So those are some of the coaches to watch out for in the Southeastern Conference. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Basketball is a long season, a lot of games. And you have the tournament at the end of the season. And then you have the seeding, and you go to the different regions. And so I always tell people you have to win 6 games to be a champion in basketball. So every weekend, you have to win a 2-game tournament. You approach it that way. Instead of saying we have to win 6 games, just say we have to win 2 games for 3 straight weekends, and we're the champion. That kind of makes it easier for the fans to understand. Don't think about 6 games. Just think about a 2-game tournament every weekend for 3 straight weekends.
What are you seeing, or is there a correlation between football and basketball when it applies to the transfer portal?
Yeah, basketball, that's been a fluid situation more years than football because you're able to transfer. But in basketball, Donna, some of the coaches, when we went to the preseason media days, they have all these new players, Donna. They don't know themselves about their team because they have 6, 7, 8 players that are brand new, whether they're high school seniors or they're transfers from another school. So it's hard for them to determine and project about their team. They're hoping they selected the right people, but they're not positive because there's so many new people on the team, new players on the team. So they have a difficult time projecting their fortune.
There you go. AP, I can't believe this. Only 30 seconds left in this segment. How can folks find you? And you're also on the Newscaster Studio. Yeah,
Newscaster Studio. So it's AP as we see it. And Donna, they can check our social media platforms on our YouTube channels, my personal one, AP Steadham, and at AP as we see it. Donna, but I'll be covering the national championship game. They can look at all my videos I had from the Cotton Bowl game between Ohio State and Texas and other games in the past. So just check the YouTube channel. All types of interesting videos I have on those platforms.
Absolutely. AP, thank you so much for being on the show with me. It's always a pleasure and always an honor.
Thank you. My pleasure, Donna. Thank you.
You're the best that's out there. And you guys are the best also. Thank you so much for watching. Continue sending emails, Donna@donnasedge.com. And I look forward to seeing you for another show tomorrow. You take care.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see,